So Event Hubs went and they did a list of the top 15 fighting games of 2024, but they did it based off player count. So they basically went on Steam charts, which I know everybody's gonna be like, "This is only based off PC. There's so many other consoles." Look, it's a good measuring stick. Will you stop it? Stop it. The numbers matter a little bit. My goodness, it's not like we talking about Street Fighter Five or something. Like that was only on PlayStation. Like many people have PCs. It's the optimal way to play. Anyway, I ain't finna waste time arguing with y'all. Um, Street Fighter Six comes out on top with basically 14,000 30-day average players. Then Brawlhalla right behind that, with 9,600. Then Tekken 8 with basically 6,600. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero behind that with 3,400 basically. Mortal Kombat 11 1925, which is actually higher than Guilty Gear Strive, which is right behind it at 1846, and also higher than Mortal Kombat 1 at 1442, which is insane to think that Mortal Kombat 11 is still being outplayed more than Guilty Gear Strive and Mortal Kombat 1. Rivals of
Yeah.
Aether 2 comes in right after that at 1200. Multiversus comes in at 734, which is just terribly sad. Terribly sad. Dragon Ball Fighters basically comes in after that at basically 600. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising 480. Then we got Tekken 7 at 473. Then King of Fighters 15 at 343. Why you didn't put King of Fighters 15 in your list? That's why. Rivals are 338. And then it rounded it all out, Mortal Kombat X 336. So crazy that you didn't have that many anime games. Really, the only anime games you had was Dragon Ball Fighters, if people want to count that. Then Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Those were the only ones. You don't see no Uni, you don't see no Melty Blood. Actually, Mortal Kombat X is doing better than those. So,
Yeah.
which is
Wow.
wild. So basically off this list, what are you guys' general thoughts when you see this? When you see this list, when you see the rankings, this is basically what was getting played the most in 2024 as far as fighting games. Starting with you, MC Mays, how you feel about this list?
No, the thing that jumps out to me immediately is like the fact that I mean, of course, I figured that Street Fighter 6 would either be like the top or really close to the top, but the fact that Brawlhalla is so high up there because I mean, not for nothing, I think Brawlhalla is a good game and I think like it's worth for those of you who haven't played it, I think it's a game worth playing, but it's like Brawlhalla as far as I know doesn't really get a whole lot of like you don't hear people talking about Brawlhalla that much. Like, like just day to day, you hear people talking about Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, even King of Fighter 15. Like, you have, like, and there are always like these big bombastic announcements about stuff going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even like King of Fighter 15, like back when Mature and Vice came out, like, that was whether or not, like, it's like, of course, it's like not super, but it's on the list, right? And it's like something. And people, and I was actually really hyped for Mature and Vice, but Brawlhalla has a bunch of characters. They do like a whole lot of characters. They do crossovers with all these different like franchises, like The Walking Dead, Kung Fu Panda. Like they all these outlandish like stuff that I mean, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my first like idea of like, oh yeah, that's definitely a crossover I would do in like a in a platform fighter like that. I'm like, oh, I would not have expected them to do like a Walking Dead or maybe Kung Fu Panda actually. Now that I think about it, but like that's interesting. The fact that that Mortal Kombat X is still on the list, even where it is on the list, is kind of nuts to me. I mean, the what you said earlier, Rexon, about Mortal Kombat One. I'm not Mortal Kombat One still being on there, and then of course, like you're talking about, well, I think I'm surprised that Mortal Kombat One is as high as it is. To be honest, I'm very surprised. But I mean, some people still have faith in the game, so I guess that's good. Um, what you said are also about multiverses is very sad about what happened with multiverses, but multiverses has kind of earned that. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't know, like that didn't happen like by coincidence. Like multiverses kind of, it's like kind of earned, or I guess did not earn. You know, it didn't really earn its. Where like it could have been really good. It could have been really really good, but they just didn't have the heart. I don't think they just really didn't have the heart.
Yeah, they kind
So
of earned it because
uh,
you failed twice.
yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like, I I really don't know, man. It's one of those games that just kind of had all of the fanfare, all of the fanfare. You came in because technically speaking, when they came before they came out with Multiverses, you had what's called the Nicktoons like All Star Brawl out, and everybody was kind of like, oh man, like Nicktoons, and then all of the failings of Nicktoons, you felt like, oh, Multiverses is coming out, and all the characters look cleaner, and they kind of have like voiced lines from the characters. Like they really put in all this effort into the game. And then like the longer and longer the time, more time went along, it's just like, oh no, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. But I mean, I think like for the
Reach.
most part, I think it's like man, some of these it's I think like all of these like titles deserve to be on the list with the exception of Mortal Kombat 1. And but it's but man, it's just it's really sad for like because I mean like the fall from grace, especially the game like Multiversus has had, man. I'm just very sad to me.
That's all you missed the game alone.
So being honest, when I looked at this list, I mean it looks accurate, like how I would think. I mean, Street Fighter is above and beyond. I might have would have. I actually thought Tekken would have been second, but I didn't think about Brawlhalla. But Brawlhalla is like huge. People, the fan base that game has is huge. It keeps coming out. I mean, it's basically the Fortnite of like fighting games, like platform fighters. It's
Yeah.
basically that. I mean, well, Smash is kind of that, but I think Brawlhalla even more now. I mean, you have WWE skins in Brawlhalla, Assassin's Creed. You got Street Fighter. You got um Ninja Turtles, all kind of stuff in that game now. So it's basically just become like a Fortnite. So it's just people just love that game. And that's the one game I think now that like in that arena that can like compete with Smash is the closest thing. I actually went looking for Smash numbers and I couldn't find those because I was curious to see where those would be at. I'm pretty sure they're probably decently high, I would
Not on
imagine.
PC.
Know what I'm saying? Like I went looking just for its numbers to compare to
Like the
this.
general
And
numbers.
yeah, and I couldn't find them.
I'm sure it's blowing all of them out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm sure Melee would probably still be blowing a lot of these out of the water.
Yeah, probably so. So a few notables on this list, Multiverses. Y'all know how I feel about that game. Had no faith in it, period. I knew this was gonna happen to this game. It's like you come out, you fail twice, you make the game worse the second time. It's like, all right, cool. That's great. He mentioned it. I'm actually curious that backyard Nickelodeon fight fisticuffs is not on here. Which
Relax,
well, actually, I'm not surprised because it's probably
relax,
nobody
bro.
playing it. Everybody like I
Right.
literally forgot the
Like,
game
yeah.
came out last year, and I'm pretty sure everybody else did too. So I'm actually not surprised it is not on. It's probably like there's probably like 10 more games after Mortal Kombat X, and then like Nick is like maybe like one person playing.
What we doing,
Um,
bro?
hey man, I'm just spitting facts, man. I told y'all the game was gonna be hot garbage. Again, he tried twice. Both of them tried twice and failed. Anyway, we got MKX. I mean, MKX people love those MKX, man. So I'm not surprised to see that game still on here with at least a handful of players. It's unfortunate the MK11, the game that I had been saying was better than MK1. People like, man, no, MK11 wasn't great. Well, these numbers are showing otherwise. Again, this is just on PC, but I mean, if you look at like just the numbers, I'm pretty sure like if you were to add up all the other consoles, it'll probably be about the same. I mean, with Street Fighter, you can't argue that. It's like it's above and beyond this high just on PC. So you add PlayStation and stuff onto it, it's probably gonna just skyrocket. But yeah, this list looks pretty accurate. Yeah, Street Fighter, Tekken, Sparking Zero probably would look a lot different earlier last year, but you know that game fell off quite
Oh
hard.
yeah.
Another game I had no faith in. I just like they got to do something new for that formula. Like Fighters is just
Yep.
the for me, Fighters is a quintessential way to make a Dragon Ball fighting game. Now it's cool. Hey, the novelty of flying around, yeah, that's cool. But now we got Android 19 just flying up and down for 30 minutes. So you know, yeah, this list looks accurate.
In the words of Skip Bayless, finally, it's my turn. Um, But I don't know. Looking at this list overall, Street Fighter 6 being on top. I mean, what do you expect? It's Street Fighter 6. When they put 8 on it, it'll double. So when y'all
Well,
go ahead and
nigga,
make that
go
decision to
triple.
put Adon in it, y'all go ahead and do a lot better. Don't do nothing. I said I wasn't gonna be salty today. I ain't got the strength. You trying to trap me into it, Mr. Game. I ain't falling for it.
Bro, I just said a statement, bro. It's a fact.
But Brawlhalla, I'm not gonna say and act like I know a lot about Brawlhalla, but I will say, I mean, just to give it the respect it deserves, people all have talked about it. People have talked about it, how great it is. And as far as I'm gonna go with it. Tekken 8 being third, I mean, Brawlhalla did sneak up in there and basically, I'm sure it was like, Tekken probably went to the event and was like, "Oh, well, I'm sure this is my seat," because I'm the big dog here. And Brawlhalla came, tapped him on the shoulder, was like, "Hey, you in my spot," made him get up and change his seat. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now it's crazy. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has the second all-time highest peak on this list outside of Multiversus. It's at 120,000 people playing at the same time at its peak. And it dropped all the way down to 3,425. So no wonder they was like it lost half of its player base. But they said with arena fighters that's typical. But this is Dragon Ball Z we talking about, so that is a really
That's a
big
huge drop off.
crash. Like that's crazy. Like I'm not saying you got to be anywhere near like your highest peak and stuff like that, but that's huge. Like to go below Street Fighter, Brawlhalla, and Tekken, like from 120,000 when their all time peaks was like, I mean, Street Fighter at the highest at 70,000. So that's crazy. Mortal Kombat 11 being here, I mean, it's understandable when you look at the scene and just been seeing how they've been talking about how much they hate. I mean, they one of the few ones that's keeping it real. Like they say they hate Mortal Kombat and they going back to MK11. I mean, what they actually did in the chart show it. We don't see Street Fighter 5 on this list. And we see Tekken 7 on this list though. But it doing better than Guilty Gear Strive really speaks to how big the Mortal Kombat player base is. People all the time be in the comments talking about top 3. When Mortal Kombat been top 3? It's been top 3 since we've been talking top 3s. It's Mortal Kombat. What you gonna do? Disrespect what it's doing, what it is? I mean, my goodness, it's the highest selling fighting game of all time besides Smash. Like so,
people. I
what
saw
you want from
somebody
me?
say that they talking about Strive. I'm like, bro, what about before Strive? MK11, it was a top 3 game. MK9, it was a top 3 game. MKX, like, what do you like? What is this whole conversation with top 3? It's garbage now, but like,
I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, they released a dub, but we ain't finna sit here and just be like, man, they ain't never been top 3. What are you talking about?
That's just dishonest.
Guilty Gear Strive took that. I mean, no, it didn't. When Guilty Gear Strive came out, I mean, Mortal Kombat was still on top, so it is what it is. Mortal Kombat 1 being below Guilty Gear Strive and Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah, go ahead and start something new there, bro. It's over with. Rob was like 8 to 2. Don't know nothing about it. Multiversus had the highest.
That was so low.
Multiversus had the highest player 20 had the highest all-time peak at 153,044 players, which is bonkers, bananas, and it's down to 734. That's insane. Like, and I saw the Event Hubs has a video where they talked about how Multiversus did so bad. I gotta go back and look at that. They linked somebody on YouTube that basically breaks it down from the beginning to the end, but that's nuts. Like, then we got Dragon Ball Fighters at 598. Now, surprisingly, that is still here because one, Sparking Zero came out, and two, this game is like 7 years old. So, I mean, that lets you know people just have really been clamoring. They really love their Dragon Ball Fighters. But to go ahead and round it out, because I've been talking for forever. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising being on here is great. Representative for the anime fighters. Woo woo. Tekken 7 still being on here is great. King of Fighters 15 being all the way down here below Tekken 7, below Grand Blue Fan. I told people the reason why I didn't speak about KOF 15 in that video I just did, and I just spoke about City of the Wolves, was because of this. Nobody talks about KOF 15. You don't see it on the timeline. No, I don't see it on the timeline nowhere. And I'm scouring looking for news and stuff to talk about on the daily. I don't see it. The only time you see it come up is when somebody say it's gonna be at the next turn. Like y'all, most of y'all probably don't even know the SNK World Championship Series is going on. I'm sure most of y'all don't even know they got a finals coming up soon. How many of y'all knew that? But everybody want to talk about KOF. Why are you talking about KOF 15? Anywho, and y'all didn't even know the World Championship was going on. Want to holler at me like, no, man, they ain't got no motion. That's why ain't no motion.
Wow.
Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. MKX still being on here is pretty cool. Let you know once again how popular MK is, and that's all I got. Anybody else got anything to add?
Looks right to me, man. I do think I ain't gonna lie. Rivals 8 to being so low, kind of that's a solid game. Like that's another game that has a potential. It's there to compete with Smash, but it's just like it just doesn't have like the character. Like it's just, I mean, Smash is like its own entity, but it's a good solid game. I'm kind of surprised that's that low, but I mean, it's an indie game, so it kind of comes along with it, I guess. Yeah. So. But yeah,
no motion,
but it's still above Multiversus. So that's and Nick Fisticuffs is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so we move on to the next topic.